In this tutorial, we'll adjust the extrontraining.gdl file for our single display system. We'll begin by making adjustments to our start page and then modify its associated pop-up and modal pop-up page. First, open the start page from our workspace. Let's replace the text label at the top of this page with an image, or, in our example, the Extron logo. To do this, right-click on the object named Logo Text here and select Delete. Click and drag an image from the Controls pane and place it over the top center portion of the workspace. In Appearance Properties, select Image. Then click the Browse button to bring up the resource library. The resource library allows us to import images from a location on our computer. We'll go ahead and select all of the provided images for future use. Click Open. Let's use the Extron Electronics logo for our start page. As you can see, the graphic is being cut off. One way to fix this would be to select each handle and pull out all the sides of the border. A quicker way is to right-click and select Size to Image. Now click Align Page Horizontal Center, which will align our image to the center of the page. Then right-click the image and select Send to Back. Since our system does not require lighting, we'll remove the Lighting Control button and pop-up page reference. Any other adjustments to the start page will be made in GC+. The next item we want to look at is the main page. We need to make a few adjustments to this template for our system, which includes a laptop, PC, Blu-ray, document camera, and wall plate. We don't need the tuner button, so we'll remove it. Next, we want to change the auxiliary button image to correspond with the wall plate used in the system diagram. To do this, click on the Aux button. Then go to the Control States pane to change the two images for each control state. Click on Control State 0. Go to the Appearance Properties to change the image. From the Resource Library, select the black wall plate button image and click Apply. Now the button image associated with Control State 0 has been changed. Repeat the process for Control State 1. Select Control State 1. Navigate to the Appearance Properties pane, Image, open the Resource Library, and select the yellow wall plate button and click Apply. Next, we'll add the wall plate text. Double-click on the button and type in Wall, Carriage Return, then Plate, and click Away. We're not able to see the text because the color is at its default setting, Transparent. Let's change the text color by opening the color window and from List selecting White Smoke. Then click OK. Now we can see the text, but the font size is larger compared to the other buttons and misaligned. Modify this by changing the font size from 14 down to 12. To align the font, select Text Alignment, and from the drop-down, Left Center. The text is not positioned exactly where we want it. Let's change this by clicking Text in the Appearance Properties pane. Open the drop-down and add 3 spaces in front of Wall and 3 spaces in front of Plate. If you click on other buttons, you'll notice that the text for Control State 1 is a different color than what's set for Control State 1 of the wall plate. To make it similar, ensure Control State 1 is selected for the wall plate and open the Text Color Appearance Properties for the wall plate. Select the RGB tab. Take the color sampler and click on the DocCam text, then click OK. Since we changed the auxiliary button to the wall plate image, we must ensure that the correct name is associated with the object. Select the wall plate button and show the design properties. Notice the name is still labeled as SD Aux. Let's change it to wall plate. Now, let's ensure all our button objects are named appropriately by removing the SD in front of each item which stands for Single Display. The last thing we will do is ensure the buttons are properly spaced between each other. While holding down the Control key, select all the source button objects and click Horizontal Spacing Make Same. Now, all the buttons are evenly spaced within the top area of the layout. As part of our design, we are controlling the screen but not the lights. Use the Room Control label to create a Screen Control label. Double-click on the label object and change the text. Now, update the object name in the Properties panel as Screen Control Label. We will use the buttons for Screen Control and Lighting Control as our screen up and down controls by simply changing their text. Remember, as we're making these changes, be sure to change the object's name in the Design Properties for Screen Control Up and Screen Control Down. This ensures that once the design is brought into Global Configurator Plus, all the object names and their associated text are matched correctly. Next, we're going to add the button for the Annotator Clear function of the annotator. We can use the space at the bottom of the main page for this button. Now copy the Help button with Ctrl-C and paste it with Ctrl-V. This gives us an additional button which we can move over and rename. Double-click and type in Annotator Clear. Since we used an existing button, keep in mind that the object properties name now needs to be updated. So let's go to the Properties panel and change its name to Annotator Clear. Now that our main page is set up, let's move on to the pop-up and modal pop-up pages for our buttons. The Aux button that has been changed to the Wallplate button had a pop-up page associated with it. Since the pop-up is no longer associated with the Aux button, let's reuse the auxiliary pop-up page as the Wallplate pop-up page. Double-click on Aux 1 from the Workspace tree. Go to Design Properties and change the name to Wallplate. This will update the name of the page in the Workspace tree. Now we'll change the contents of this pop-up page. Double-click on the auxiliary label object at the top and type in Wallplate. To help speed things up, we can copy this text with Ctrl-C, then go to the Name Properties, highlight Aux, and replace it by pasting in the Wallplate text. Next, go to the Auxiliary is currently selected text, double-click, and replace Auxiliary with Wallplate. Then update the name properties to Wallplate Label 1. And for best practices, let's go to the text below and update the name properties from Aux Label 2 to Wallplate Label 2. Next, we're going to make a few adjustments to the Document Camera pop-up page. So let's double-click on DocCam 1. We won't be using the iris functions on this page, so we can remove those items. Drag and select Iris, Up, Down, and Normal, and press the Delete key. Inputs won't be used either. Instead, we'll use these buttons for presets that are associated with the document camera. Double-click the Inputs text area and change the name to Presets. Again, we've changed the name of the object, so let's update the design properties as well to reflect Presets label. Now let's do the same for the button properties that correspond to presets 1, 2, and 3. So under the design properties for button 1, let's go to the name, remove Input, and change the label to DocCam Preset 1, DocCam Preset 2, and Preset 3, respectively. Finally, we want to make sure all our buttons